Hi and welcome back to Feanut Financial Model online course. In this video, I will introduce you to the Feanut Financial Model, to its structure, to individual worksheets, and to its basic functionalities. For those of you that purchased the Feanut Financial Model package from us, what you received was a blank version of Feanut Financial Model, as well as a model example called Pen Factory Incorporated, which is the example that we will use also over the course of these video lectures. And you also received a financial model guide, which is basically a guide that explains step by step how to create a financial model using Feanut. So you can reference back to this guide, and basically we will follow the individual chapters in this model guide during our video lectures. So today we'll start with the model introduction, and let me jump back to the Excel file. So in the Excel file, when you open it, the first page or first worksheet is just the cover page. You can click in here to go to menu. This is the main menu of the model. This page contains the structure of the model, which means individual worksheets in the model and how they are interconnected. So let me quickly explain what you will find in the model and how you can distinguish between different parts of the model. So as part of financial modeling best practice, we separate individual worksheets into several sections. The first one is called data inputs, and essentially this will be the most important part of the model for you, because these are the worksheets where you will populate the data. And as a businessman or someone who does not have a deep financial knowledge, you just need to understand what sort of data you have to populate into these tables, and all the rest is calculated and taken care by the model itself. So we will spend a lot of time exploring together what are the requirements on the data inputs for this part of the model. The next part of the model is called financial statements. So in here, these are actually the model outcomes. These are the model inputs, and everything here are the outcomes of the modeling. So what you will get is 4 different financial statements. In the next section, you'll get a summary of calculated financial ratios, a simplified version of business valuation, and also a worksheet for scenario analysis, which is a very useful option or feature of the model that allows you to model several different scenarios of your financial projections without changing the original data inputs. So very useful functionality to play with once you populated your initial data inputs into the model. And then we have some summaries section where you will find some pre-designed charts, as well as a 2-page executive summary that takes the key data and key charts from the financial model, and also provides a boxes where you can put your comments on different sections of your financial plan. These arrows here shows the flow of the information through the model. So obviously start with data inputs that is fed into the financial statements, then further to the analysis section, and finally to the summaries. There are also 3 more worksheets that I call a technical worksheets, if you will. One of them is called input summary. This is a worksheet that just summarizes the key inputs that you provide here in this section of the model, and it summarizes them in a single chart where you can put some comments on the assumptions that you use for the data that you provided in the data inputs. It can be useful alongside with your executive summary. So if you will be presenting the summary of your financial model to someone, it might be useful to have a separate worksheet with the comments on the key assumptions, key data inputs that you use in the model. The next one is list of the tables, and that's just like a table of contents of all the different tables in the model. This one is useful for you to navigate through the model very quickly, because everything is linked and interconnected. So if you are looking for some particular table in the model, you can go in here and just click through that part of the model that you are interested in. And the last one, very useful feature called control sheet. We will spend more time on this one later. There will be a separate video dedicated to control sheet. But basically, control sheet controls whether everything in the model works correctly. And it provides recommendations on solve any potential issues. The issues that you can see when you will work with the model could be, for example, some issues of a more like a technical nature. For example, you will set up a starting date for your business plan, and then in some of the data inputs tables you will provide a date that is before your start of the business plan, and the financial model does not understand it. So for example, you will, in the data input table for your sales, you will populate a date that you will start producing and selling certain product, let's say in 2014, but the first period of your financial model is 2015. If something like that happens, you will find this error highlighted in a control sheet. That's just one example. And then there could be another sort of errors that are more related to the business and the result of the financial modeling itself. And this could be, for example, some issues related to cash flows. So, for example, you will model some sales and cost and capital expenditure projections in here, as well as some financing data inputs. Once the model calculates month by month and year by year your financial model, it may realize that in certain periods you will have a negative cash balance. If that happens in the model will highlight that in the error section and will provide you recommendations how you can deal with that situation. Most likely it will be you have to either change something in your cost or sales side, or you have to change something in your financing. But we will talk about that later in a much more detail. So that was a structure of the model. Maybe you already realize that there are some different colors and numbers in the model. These number and color coding should help you to navigate through the model. So you can see that data inputs worksheets are numbered 0 and are colored in light blue. Then financial statements start with number 1 and are colored in blue. Analysis starts with number 2 and are colored in dark blue, and so on and so on. So when you are in the model, you can very quickly say whether you are in a data input worksheet or whether you are in some analysis worksheet. There is also some additional color coding. Again, this is a standard in financial modeling, and this differentiates different cells in the model. So whenever the model requires you to put some data input somewhere, those cells are highlighted in yellow and the text of the color is blue. Whereas for the calculation, the cells are white and the text color is black. So thanks to this color coding, you will be able to say immediately whether you are in a data input cell or whether that cell is a calculation. I will go through some examples in a minute, but just to summarize this main menu, what you see here is the structure of the model, some explanations on the color coding and numbering of the worksheets, and there is also one useful functionality in here. Everything has hyperlinks in here, so you can actually click through these different buttons and go directly to individual worksheets. So for example, if I would like to go to main inputs worksheets, I can just go in here, click on the button, and it will take me to the data input worksheets for some main data inputs. And of course I can go back to my menu by clicking the link here in this corner, and that will take me back to the main menu of the model. So you can very quickly navigate through the model just by clicking on these buttons. So I can go, for example, to the list of the tables that I mentioned earlier. I can click in here, and that will get me to the list of all the tables that are in the model. And again, everything is linked here as well. I can click on the worksheets here, and that will take me to the main menu worksheet. And here are the individual tables. When you click on the name of the table, that will take you back to the list of the table. So I click here, and it will take me back to the list of the table. I can click on some other table in this list, let's say valuations input in the main inputs worksheet. I'll click on that, and again it will take me to the main inputs worksheet, in here to valuation inputs table, and again I can click on the name of the table, and that will take me back to the list of the tables. Here I can click to the menu link, and that will take me back to the main menu. So you can try that by yourself. You will find out that it's actually very easy to navigate through the model using these links, so you don't have to use this bar at the bottom, and you can very quickly switch from one worksheet to another. So that is it in terms of structure of the model, some color coding, links between worksheets, and in the next video we will start with the data input section of the model, and we will start with the main inputs. We will talk about what you will find in this section of the model, what data you populate in this part of the model. And we'll basically start working with our example, which is called Pen Factory, which is a fictional business plan or business model that we will use to create a financial model during this online financial modeling course. So whenever you are ready, just proceed to the next video, and we'll start right from here.